Hi everyone, it's me, Dolls and Pop, back again another week, another episode of Crafting and Cryptids. This week's episode is episode 6, Asexuals versus Cryptids. Now of course I'm going to explain just why this episode happened, but first of all I'd like to take a minute to just ask you, if you haven't already, to please click the subscribe button. It would mean an awful lot to me, and thank you to everyone who's done it so far. I really appreciate it. This week up here I'll be doing some crafting, and I'm going to take a moment to talk about that too, because recently I've been making my own makeup, and hopefully very soon I will be offering it for sale on an Etsy store. That's it, that's all I wanted to tell you. Just a quick moment, let's jump into the episode. So the idea for today's episode came about, as many great ideas do, through a meme which I'm going to show you in the first segment. But the top and bottom of the meme was that asexuals wouldn't actually in fact be immune to a siren song. So that got me thinking about all the other cryptids, ghosts, spirits, entities, monsters that use sexual tactics to lure in their victims. And it got me thinking, I wonder if asexuals would be immune to these cryptids, or whether in fact they would still succumb to it. So I thought I'd do a special episode just about that, because it's a silly idea. Why not go for it? Another inspiration for today's episode is obviously the fact that I myself identify as asexual. So in theme of today's episode, I thought that I would recolour my hair. I thought I would do the asexual flag colours, got my nails, made a cute little necklace, and I've got my favourite ace shirt on. Just thought I'd make a theme of it. Now, a lot of people are still unsure of what an asexual actually is. You know, it's not a thing you encounter every day. You might not know. So I'm going to quickly explain. An asexual is a person who does not experience sexual attraction to any gender. So they don't think, ooh, look at that person over there, that's a hot piece of ass. Asexual is a very umbrella term because there is all different types. Some asexuals enjoy sex, they like it. Some asexuals don't whatsoever, they're completely sex repulsed. Some enjoy thinking about it but not doing it. Others don't really care. But the one thing that they all have in common is that they are not sexually attracted to anything. So with that in mind, let's get into today's episode. Now I'm going to include the meme because the meme is what started the whole idea for the episode. So the Sirens, for those who didn't see the Sirens and the Mermaids episode, the Sirens were beautiful women with bird wings, and they lived on an island, and they sung, and the sailors would come, they'd get shipwrecked, and the sirens would eat them. Here's the meme that started it all. It was talking about how asexuals are not going to, it's often said that asexuals wouldn't succumb to a siren song. Okay, so as we've already explored in earlier episodes, sirens were creatures that typically lured in sailors to kill them. And it's always said that, well, it's not actually said, nobody's actually stated that they were specifically sexual about it. They just sung about the desires in men's hearts. So for a lot of them, I guess that would be something quite lustful. But for an asexual, obviously that's going to be massively different. But nowhere does it state that they just sung about sex. So they could sing about anything, and that's where this post came in, because asexuals probably wouldn't be immune to that, because the sirens would be there and they'd be like, we've got the best food in the world, come and get it, all you can eat, come and get it. And the asexual sailor would be straight over there, really, wouldn't they? Free food, whatever food you like. So I don't know how it morphed into something sexual, because it wasn't really. It's just the desires in men's hearts. So would an asexual fall victim to a siren? Well, yes, because they were looking to the heart. They would see what they desire the most, and they'd sing about that. So can you imagine you sailing past and they're like, yo, we've got free craft supplies. Free craft supplies. I'd be straight over there. That'd be me. I'd be dead. Done. Sorry. I would risk it all. I'd risk it for a chocolate biscuit. Next we have the Encantado, which is basically a good time party dolphin. That's the best thing I could describe it as. Now, this myth comes from Brazilian folklore, and it's about a shapeshifter, a shape-shifting cryptid who took on the form of an attractive male, and he would go around to all different parties and such. Now, the Encantado could come onto land whenever it wanted, and it was usually always a male. He always transformed into a really attractive male, and he had really good musical abilities. You know, that's how you could tell that somebody was an Encantado. He was good looking, he had really mad music skills, he liked to party, and he liked to shag things. That's how you tell. Easy test, really, isn't it? Some people I know might be Encantados. So the legend would go that the Encantado would never fully transform. In fact, he could never hide his blowhole, so he usually had a hat. So put that as 5 things on the list, because he always had a blowhole, and there was nothing he could do except cover it up with a hat. So if you need to see if somebody was an Encantado, that's a helpful checklist. Anyway, what he would do is he'd come up on land, he'd go to parties, he'd have a brilliant time, he was the life and soul of the party, everybody loved him, and he was really attractive, so he found it really easy to seduce men and women. Well, I don't know, maybe men. Probably bisexual if he's a good time party dolphin, sex dolphin, I don't know. And he would often father illegitimate children. Sometimes an Encantado would stay on land, where he'd often be found making a living as a musician. The Encantado comes from a secret underwater kingdom, so there's that. So that was his jam: go to a party, seduce someone, have sex with them, father a child, maybe, probably. Would an asexual fall for that? Well, some asexuals, like most people, I suppose. There's introverts and there's extroverts, so I guess extroverted asexuals would probably be friends with the guy, because he's a nice guy, you know, he's a party animal. Maybe the ones who enjoy sex might fall for it, but me, personally, I'd probably be like, oh, stay away from me, mate. Don't come near me, mate. I can't put up with all the baggage that comes with a good time, sexy party dolphin. Too many people, too much interaction. I don't like interaction. It's often believed that the myth of the Encantado comes from the Amazonian pink river dolphin, because it's pink. It looks magical. Who knows? Maybe it's a party dolphin. Maybe it's doing lines of cocaine off a hooker's butthole. Who knows? But either way, I don't want anything to do with the sex dolphin, and I'm sure a lot of asexuals would not fall for that. So I'm going to say that asexuals win. Yeah, we do. Incubi and succubi are demons that show up in the middle of the night when somebody's asleep. They sit on them and they have sex with them. They are said to be the children of Lilith from the Bible. You know, the Adam and Lilith, Adam and Eve kind of biblical stuff. The incubi and the succubi were Lilith's children, and the tales of them have been told throughout centuries. In fact, they're often linked to sleep paralysis. People wake up and they can't move, and they think that they see something, and they think it's a scary demon sat on top of them, and that's what got the blame for it, the incubi and the succubi. So because the demons come when you're asleep and then they lie on top of people and forcefully engage them in sexual activity, I don't think asexuals would stand a chance with this one, because these guys are rapey bastards. You don't have a choice to say yes or no. So when it comes to incubi and succubi, I think that asexuals, we're probably going to lose that one, guys. We're probably going to lose that one. The Pontianak is a female demon from Singapore, Malaysia and Indonesia, and she takes the form of a beautiful woman with long black hair in a white dress with pale skin and red lips. She's supposed to be very good looking, and that's one of the ways that she tricks people into coming over to help her. She's said to stand at crossroads crying, or just generally looking like a damsel in distress, or looking like a sexy piece of something or other, and people want to help her. They're tricked into it. Now, I don't think that, in some stories she lures men over and then she eats them, because they're thinking, oh, there's a hot helpless woman at the side of the road. But asexuals are obviously not going to think like that. But there is another type of story about the Pontianak, and these stories say that the Pontianak is a young pregnant woman, and that's how she lures people in, because she's helpless. People obviously want to help out a stranded pregnant lady, and that's how she got them. So depending on which version we came across would highly depend on the outcome for our asexual heroes. I think that if it was just a sexy woman, we'd obviously be like, alright, no, I'm trying to get home, love. I think I left the oven on. But if it was a pregnant lady, then obviously, like any decent person, would probably stop to help, and that is when we would be eaten. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say that asexuals would win this one. I think we'd win, because most of the stories are of a young, seductive woman, so I think we'd win. It's also said that the Pontianak can take the form of an animal, in which case I think that any person would just be absolutely fucked, really, wouldn't we? Because imagine that if you saw a dog at the side of the road that looked injured, that'd be it. You'd be straight over there to help the dog, and boom, dead. Because when you met the Pontianak, the whole appearance would change into the true face, which was obviously fuck ugly and very scary, and then that's the last thing you see before you get chomped on. That's it, you're deadsies. The final one on the list is a liderk. I can't say that word. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. A liderk. A liderk. A liderk. A liderk. One of them will be right. Now this comes from Hungarian folklore. From Hungarian folklore. That's a word that I can't say no matter how many times I try, sorry. And this one's an interesting one, because there's magic involved in the creation. A person would purposefully create a liderk, and it would do things for them, but it would also want to suck you dry of your essence. I thought I'd clarify that. Now the liderk is something again that has multiple forms, which kind of makes it difficult to say whether we'd win or not, but let's try anyway. Okay, so the first form is a bit of magic. A person wants a liderk. What they do is they find a black hen and they take one of its eggs and they carry it around in their armpit to keep it warm, and they do that for a certain amount of time, and when the egg hatches, it's this little demon thing that's, I guess, sexy. I guess it must be, for you to want to do that with it, and it'll do anything for you, but it also wants to eat your essence. And it does that through having sex with the master. They become bonded to the masters, and until it eventually kills you through sex, which isn't, I'm sure some people would like to go that way, but it doesn't sound like a very good way to go. I think asexuals would definitely win against this cryptid, unless we did it for science, because I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, right, get the egg, put it in the armpit, just to see if it worked, because you'd want to do it for science, wouldn't you? And then you'd be stuck with this demon that wants to have sex with you. But I'm going to say that we win against this one. The second variety of the Lady is like a little imp. Now, I don't know whether this one wants to have sex with you. Maybe it drains your sexual energy still. I just thought we'd mention it because it's another version, and it can come from a black chicken egg, but it's more likely to just be found in your washing, which is a bit weird, isn't it? The third version of a Lady is said to be a satanic lover. It's very similar to an incubus or a succubus. Flies around at night. It could take a human shape, perhaps like the shape of somebody who's past, like a past lover or something, and it seduces people. It can shapeshift into anything, and it has a lot of folklore surrounding it. They enter people's houses through keyholes or chimneys, and they basically do the same thing as incubi or succubi. It always has to leave by the time it gets to dawn, though. In this case, I think that asexuals would lose because, again, it's like the incubi and the succubi. You don't have a choice. So we're probably going to lose that one, and we're not going to be very happy about it. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Do you know any other type of cryptids or ghosts or anything, any culture anywhere in the world that use sexual tactics to lure in their victims? Because I would really like to do a part 2 to this video. Don't know about you, but I thought it was quite a funny theory. I think today the asexuals overall mostly won. We won, guys. We did a good job. We're not falling for any of that nonsense. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. As usual, I really want to thank you for joining me again. Another week, another episode. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I actually have a functioning neurological disorder, and sometimes I have seizures which make me unable to do videos, really. But I'm thankful that you're still here. I am filming extra things so that if I don't do crafting and cryptids, I'll at least be able to post a video still. And I really hope to see you next week. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing Tits on Tuesday, where I'm going to show you how to make a cute little pride flag necklace. Just out of shrinky dinks. That's how I made this. It's just a shrinky dink. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Dolls and Pop. I'm Stacey. Until next week, sleep tight. Don't let the Lady bite, or the incubi, or the succubi. Oh God, I've got to go to sleep now. Right, anyway, I'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. Bye forever, you little shit.